actually start the conversation with deepfakes. And so much of this is still in that perceptual zone known as the uncanny valley, but the technology is changing and advancing quite quickly. And it may not be the case for long. Andy and Jonathan, maybe you two might want to start with this first question. Where do we stand, and how close are we going to get in the very foreseeable future?
I think every day we get closer to be able to do things that are very hard to recognize whether they're true or not. And if that is the essential thing, that you cannot believe your eyes or your ears, that is a defeat of democracy. Now, I understand for many regimes that's a good thing, to be able to say, this is all fake news, don't believe anything you see, puts us into a weird place where it's all just your own opinion, and that everyone can have their own reality. You know, I'm old enough to have remembered when Walter Cronkite would end his newscast saying, that's the way it is, June 16th, 1975. And in general, there was an acceptance that that's the way it was. And now we live in a world where that does not exist. You can have a media existence that is completely balkanized, in which you never have any shared facts. And to me, that's a dangerous situation.
I think the good news is that there's attention being done to help mitigate this, both on the technology, large technology platform side, and from other startups coming the other way. So Google and Facebook are developing the antidote, along with these abilities to make this stuff happen. Facebook just announced that, right, that they're not going to allow some of this stuff, and a lot of this stuff can be similar to Content ID. What YouTube uses for Content ID, there can be a ground truth image or video that the systems can recognize and help identify these things and take them down. I think where the opportunity is for organization is that when it comes to an individual, if my photo is placed on something that goes viral, I don't have much of a recourse to be able to tell Google or Facebook to take that down, or if I'm just a single actor. If it's a clip from a movie, well, great, you got Universal or Viacom coming down on Facebook or YouTube to say, all right, take that down. So I think there could be an opportunity where if folks are compromised, if individuals are compromised, it's going to be hard for those individuals, unless they have a bigger voice, to be able to put the pressure on these platforms to make a change. Because Content ID and monetization of YouTube videos didn't happen until Viacom sued YouTube, and YouTube responded with, well, let's make Content ID and let's try this little experiment with sharing ad revenue. So I think there needs to be some, they've got the tools, they need some pressure. I do also know that there's attention being made by some companies that are making identification tools like plugins to the browser to be able to give you like a verified check mark if you're watching a video that says, oh, this is actually a real video instead of a deep fake. So I know that there's a few companies that are working on that, but it's going to be tricky. It's going to be really hard.
At this point, are you aware of any individuals or companies that are taking action to try to address this?
Facebook did announce, and this comes back to something that was said on the last panel, which is it's only through political pressure that these companies react.
Sorry, I meant are you aware of any individuals or companies that have actually sued or like taken a step like that?
No, because there's safe harbor. That's the biggest problem. These companies, I don't know if you all understand, but Google, YouTube, and Facebook have the most extraordinary liability protections in the world. No other company in the world has them. You cannot sue YouTube for anything that's on YouTube. And until that gets changed, none of this will change. Now, the Europeans are trying to change that, and of course, Google and Facebook are lobbying like crazy to stop that. But, so, no, there's nothing you can do as an individual.
Talking about Facebook as an example of an effort to, not to prohibit deepfakes. Wael, would you talk about the technology to detect deepfakes, and to what extent can this be done at this point?
So it can be done, but I don't see deepfakes as something that's going away anytime soon. Deepfakes is, the example that I like to use is like computer viruses. Computer viruses is something that we have been living with for the last 50 years. It's never going to completely go away. It doesn't mean that we cannot start developing technology to actually address it. And the main issue with deepfakes is that the deepfakes are not a problem. It's how we use them is the problem. So deepfakes, the example I'd like to use is what the studio basically that had to recreate Paul Walker when he died, spent $50 million on recreating Paul Walker. So deepfakes can make this problem much easier and cheaper, and it can actually work. But the problem is how we actually use deepfakes. So the issue now we have with deepfakes is that the same technology, the same artificial intelligence technology that's used for detecting deepfakes can actually be used to improve how deepfakes are being generated. So we developed, my lab and I developed some technology in the last year or something to detect deepfakes, and when we tested this technology, evaluated this technology last year on pretty much the only existing large-scale data set for deepfakes, we scored about 96% accuracy. The problem is that once we actually published our research and our paper, many people approached us asking us to release the source code that we actually use to detect deepfakes. And once we release it, which we didn't, thankfully, we decided we're not going to release it. Once we release it, people actually can take it and defeat our own detectors. So that's the problem with deepfakes now. Artificial intelligence, as I mentioned earlier, is a neutral technology. You can use it for anything. And that's why researchers and people who create deepfakes or detect deepfakes, there is a big ethical responsibility on how we actually use this technology. In terms of detection, as I mentioned earlier, it's an arms race. And I am 100% sure that in the last 6 months since we published our detection results, many people started improving, including some of my own friends at ICT, as was mentioned earlier, to improve digital humans. And now my students and engineers and I are working on new technology to improve that. So that will be an arms race. And we need to keep, whether it is universities or government or social network platforms, we need to keep investing efforts and money into developing new technologies to improve the detection results.